Hello, and welcome back into Winsel's world. Well, I'm sitting here this morning, for it's morning time for me, on this Monday morning after the ups and downs of the weather yesterday. Anyway, I need to let y'all know what's going on for those of you that are concerned about our welfare here. Of course, you can see I got the lights on. We haven't lost any power so far. And for those of you that don't know, we live here in south central to eastern Kentucky. And so, we got yesterday morning, which would have been Sunday morning, we got the snow it started coming in long about, I don't know, 8:30, 9 o'clock. So it started snowing then, and it snowed plumb up to something like 11 o'clock, 11:30, something like that. Probably got 3 inches of snow, and then it just stayed cloudy and nothing really going on till the afternoon. Then it started sleeting, and so then long about that started something like 1 o'clock. By something like 3 or 4 o'clock, why, we got a bush in front of the house over there. Still got some leaves on it, and the on the end of the limbs and the end of the leaves, there's probably about that long of ice uh, cubes hanging on the end of it, icicles hanging on the end of it. So anyway, that's what it was like then yesterday afternoon. And then last night, then, of course, this time of year we don't have as much daylight as we do darkness. But it's getting better. Days are getting longer. But anyway, then last night, then it started raining. So from the snow that we had when I was out feeding yesterday morning, which was just snow, yesterday afternoon I was walking on ice. The ice had came and so on, and it had got on top of snow, and the horse, he looked like he looked like a Tennessee walking horse, the way he was lifting up his feet, while he was going along. I had one of the goats. I don't reckon she'd ever experienced that before. She was walking real funny like. So anyway, and that's what it was like yesterday afternoon. Then last night it rained all night long. I reckon it rained. And so this morning, then, why, it's just a hard white crust out there. Just not real hard. It's just white slush, I get you to say. White, firm slush that gives when you walk on it. So, and from what I hear, they're traveling up and down the roads. I haven't been on the road and I ain't planning on getting out on the road because there's nothing we need from out there. Although I didn't get the generator worked on. So, anyhow. Well, I'd give you an update of what's going on now. Right now, it's getting colder. Overnight, yesterday it stayed consistently with the temperature. I can't remember what it was, but last night, long about from 8 o'clock when I started noticing, plumb on till I got up this morning, it stayed a consistent 33 degrees. The wind's up a little now, and when I was out last, it felt like something was falling. I guess it's very light rain or light snow or something. And I can't look out the window. I can't tell much what it's doing out there. It don't look like any fluffy snowflakes. And today we're supposed to get snow. When I looked at the radar, you see this here blue glob. It's a circling around out of the northwest, and it's going to come over top of us this afternoon. And so we'll get another blanket of snow. And then after that, then they say the temperatures are going to get down to zero. It's not be above freezing, be a low of zero like Wednesday, Thursday morning, something like that. So anyway, it's been a real ride so far. And praise the Lord, so far we have not lost the power. Still got electricity on, so that's good. Well, I cleaned this pipe a while ago. This is my morning pipe, my little Peterson Bulldog Army mount. And of course, you know, since this morning time, what I got in it, got some Peterson's nightcap in it. So we'll fire it back up again. That pipe, it seemed like the tobacco didn't taste good when you got on about halfway down and lower. So I took a knife and give it a good raking out inside of the bowl, and took pipe cleaners and went in and out the things real good. And so anyway, tried to dig around in there in some places with different knife blades and so on, trying to get down to little places. So hopefully it helped. It really, I should have let it, just put it away for the day or two and just let it dry it out. But I figured I need to make a video today in case we were to lose power later on. So I've been trying to keep this phone charged in case we did lose power. At least we have some way to contact somebody if we had some type of an emergency or something out this way. And I got me some coffee here from the Central Cal Piper. I'm trying to be true to his channel name. And so this is Central Cal Piper Coffee. And so I'm going to tell you what it is. Let me get a sip of it. And I tell you what to do with it. I got a pot that I don't use very much, a coffee pot. Don't use very much because it's so big. It's not, you know, it ain't no gallon size, but I don't know. I don't know. It'd probably make up, I don't know, a quart, 2 quart and a half of coffee or something. I think it goes up to 12 cups or something like that. But anyway, let that be as it may. It's one of them old timey percolators, you know, where you set it on a hot bed of coal or set it on top of the range or something like that. And you put your grounds in this basket and it's got this tube goes up through it, you know, and it percolates. And in this cold weather where we've been, have to go in and out, you know, to warm me up, I've been making up a big old pot of it and just making up more of what I'm going to drink at one time, just leave it. And then come back then, and of course, we're burning wood, and I'll raise up that lid on that. Actually, what is it? It's not Wonder Wood. I'll raise up the lid on that Wonder Wood, and I set that coffee pot in on that firebox, and boy, it'll keep that coffee good and hot in that way, and so works real good. Just come by and pour me a little bit in the cup, and you know, don't need no as much as what I got in this cup when I started. Maybe, you know, about that much. Probably like the old, a cup, what we would call really a measuring cup of coffee. Maybe about that much and drank along. So it's been that way I've been doing it in this kind of weather. So anyway, that's what's going on around here. On the bottom of this phone screen down here, tells me how long I've been on. That's the reason I raised forward like it to look and see. Been thinking about something the last 2 or 3 days. You know, in this kind of weather, you get a lot of time to think. I've been reading more and studying my Bible more. And I've been preaching through the book of Matthew. they're at church and over the radio, and they're at the jail where I preach at on Friday nights. And so, anyway, I've been studying, trying to study ahead and everything. And so you get more time to do it. So I've been, thinking about different things. And something I got to thinking about the other day. I want you to chew the fat with me about it some. And usually I keep this pipe going pretty good because I slow smoke it. And it don't go out when you do it that way. But when you got company, those you folks, well, you talk more and it goes out. But I've been thinking about something here lately. And with inside of what I'm gonna tell you is what I'm gonna convey to you. And it goes like this. Long back, the first place that my wife and myself and family and all, first place that we had as a family that we actually owned, in I think it was April of 1989. We didn't have any money and didn't have no savings or nothing, just living from hand to mouth, from paycheck to paycheck. But my people, they bought us 5.9 acres or 5.6 acres, whatever it was, of ground. And they deeded it over to us, and we was able to use that to be able to have a foundation to be able to buy a brand new single wide mobile home. And we put that on that property there. That was the first place we ever had. And all we had was land. No power, no water, no septic tank, nothing fenced, just land. And half of that land was open, and the other half of the land had woods. And there was a sinkhole out there next to the driveway, what we made into a driveway, that whenever we wasn't far from the Duck River, I've just about always, until we moved to Kentucky, when we lived in Tennessee, I always lived somewhere around the Duck River. And when the Duck River would back up, it would back them sinkholes up. Of course, it would back up over the driveway. So we picked us out a mobile home. I brought it out there and set it up. And we started moving into it. We moved out of an old house that had 13 rooms in it. The living room was 18 by 18. There was a woman at church. Her and her family used to live there, and they built them another house on their 300-acre farm and let us live rent-free in that old big 2-story house, 13 rooms in it. So I don't know, so we was married in 86, from 86 to 89, and we accumulated some things. And so here we were then, and all we had then was that trailer. No storage, nothing like that. Didn't even have a proper driveway, really. Just rolled on dirt, and if it rained, oh man. And so here we were with a trailer. No electricity, no running water, no septic tank. You said, well, what did you do? Well, you can just about guess if you go back in your mind 100 years. You can just about guess what we had to do. But I rented the ditch witch. Finally, got a tap put in, a water tap. I did have city water run out there, which probably something like Shelbyville, Tennessee was the county seat, Bedford County. We probably lived, I don't know, 8-10 miles from Shelbyville. So they did have city water running down that road. So I got able to put a tap in. We rented the ditch witch and dug a long trench then. And I didn't want to be close to the road, and we were probably, let's see, I had to go by feet. We were probably something like, I don't know, 600 feet from the road, something like that. So we dug a long trench, put water line in. Before then, well, we'd had a power pole put in. And while the water was being put in, or I guess we'd already had the water line run up there. Had a fella from church, he had a backhoe business. He put in septic tanks for the public. He put us in a septic tank. So we had all that going for us. I built a little old shed out in front, out there, next to the driveway to have a place to milk the goat. Got some woven wire and put up a fence. Built the front porch on the front of that trailer. Built the room on the back of that trailer, and I put the wood heater in it just right in the doorway of the back door. So the heat would come out of that back door into the rest of the trailer. And I can tell you that don't usually work too well that way, but it did heated up pretty good. So anyway, and it came in handy one time when we lost our power for a few days. But I tell you what I got to thinking about. The fencing that I did. Of course, I got a PhD, which just means post hole digger. And have you ever dug post holes? Have you ever built a fence? Now, there are different type of fences that you can put up. When you start digging post holes, of course, I know I never had one, but they make these post hole diggers that work on the back of your PTO or your tractor. So far, I've never had one of them. Just got the two handle type. But if you ever dug post holes, the best way to do it if you're going to do it right and make it look right is you take you a stick or something, or get you a couple of posts that you want to start out with, and get you a long string and stretch it tight. And come what may, you want to put those posts right beside of that string. That'll keep it straight. You say, well, what's so much about that? Well, it's this. No matter what kind of obstacles are in your way, when you start digging those post holes, and some of them on that place, I eventually fenced the whole thing off. Okay. And on the back of that place, it was rocky. Down in Tennessee, where we lived in that part of the country. And Josh, if you're listening, Gentry Vintage, he'll know what it's like around Lebanon, Tennessee. It's just full of cedar. And anywhere cedar grows, it's rocky. And on the back of this place, it was wooded and rocky. So you can't just put a hole wherever you want to if you're going to keep that barbed wire fence or that woven wire fence or that plank fence. If you're going to keep it straight, and if you're going to do it, you need to do it right, and you need to keep it straight no matter where you are. Now, you might move one way or the other up and down, but not side by side of that string. So then, no matter where you are, you've got to put in a post. And you may only go down a foot. You may go down 2 feet. You may not go down any at all. And some of them posts, to keep them straight, no matter what obstacles come your way, to keep them posts in a line, then some of those posts I would take and with planks and build a brace. Of course, like I'm telling you, on the back of that place in the woods, it was rocky. So we had this limestone rock everywhere. So it wasn't very hard, and here I am, I'm in my early 30s, well able to work, and really doing some things that were too much for me, a man of my size. I've never been any bigger than what you see now. And I've done too much heavy, hard work for a man that was my size, but I'm paying for it now, I guess. But anyway, let that be as it may. So, took planks and built a brace and put rock inside of that brace where that post wouldn't give much. Of course, once you get the wire up there, it's not going to give this way because the wire's got it held. And then the other direction, you've got this brace in there, so then it's not going to give very much. And of course, we had goats and we had hogs back there in that back part, calves, things like that. Different times they had different type of livestock. But when you go to building digging post holes like that, that is a good time to think. And I tell you something else it does too. It relaxes you. You say, now how in the world is digging post holes? Of course, you got to use a tamping bar to do some of your digging. And some of them rocks you can tamp out. You say, well, how is that relaxing? Well, I'll tell you how. Usually, see, I was working a job every day, painting houses. I was self-employed house painter. So when I come home of an evening, I didn't sit down. I kept working. There was always something to do. Well, I'm going to tell you something I learned. That sometimes you can relax by doing something else. And digging post holes can be relaxing. Now, if it's only dirt that you're digging in, it can be a whole lot more relaxing than having to wear gloves to keep from getting blisters because you're running this here tamping bar so much. Them things weighs a lot. And if you ain't already got calluses, you're going to make some. But before you make calluses, you're going to make blisters. And that ain't very enjoyable. But there is a time to think, to relax, to get off to yourself, and there is a certain amount of relaxation in digging post holes. And to try to keep them posts in line, keep them straight, no matter what. No matter how much dirt you have, no matter if you don't have very much dirt, or even if you have to tap and beat out and crush a bunch of rock in order to get down deep enough to set your post in. All of that, my friend, will build character. I thought about doing a video on what is a man. Well, that's part of it, okay? Part of becoming a man, and I ain't talking about whether you're male or female, but part of becoming a man with character is meeting life's challenges where they are. That ain't to say you're always going to be victorious. And that's not to say that they all going to be easy. Sometimes you're going to dig a hole and you're going to dig in dirt. And that ain't too hard. And sometimes you're going to hit rock. And you're going to have to figure out something to do to keep going. And in that, then, you're using your mind and you're thinking, And all that's doing, whether you know it or not, or realize it or not, what that's doing is building character. Thus, it's building a man. So, anyway, you chew on these things and think about it. For you subscribers, and I don't get as many as I used to, you tell me. Back in the summer, I'd get about 100 subscribers a week. I don't know why. What was I doing? I don't know why. And then it slacked off till I got up to whatever I got now, something over 1,000. Don't get 100 subscribers a week now, but to you subscribers and to those of you that comment, and some of you I could call you names like that. I ain't gonna do it because I don't have your permission to do that. But to you subscribers, I appreciate those of you that tune in. You watch on television, you watch on your phone, and you make comments and things like that. And I appreciate the positive feedback that I get from you. So then, and so if you looking and liking what you hear, then you can mash that there subscribe button. And usually these videos come out on Monday. That's just the way I go about doing it right now. So anyway, so I hope you got something out of this, and let you give you an update about the weather forecast for us here. Well, I mean, what we've gone through. So anyway, till we meet again, you have a good one.